Hello and welcome to another fantastic Gwent City video. Today I want to introduce one of the new members of Gwent City. That's right, one of the new members. More to come later. But for now, welcome to the team, Ancient Silence. Ancient Silence, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, man.
For somebody who might not know you, can you tell us a little bit about the background of your gaming history?
Sure. Some call me an old man. In in modern terms, I guess 32 years old. So I grew up playing Magic: The Gathering as a kid. I was always into all sorts of games, FPSs, RPGs in particular, and basically when the whole online CCG thing started happening, I started to just try out everything sequentially. Played Hearthstone since beta. Got on that eventually, switched over to Duelist, played that at a pretty high level, long time, and tried everything in between as well. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Now, what are your thoughts on other games RNG? Because I'm pretty sure everybody has a saying on that. What do you say about RNG?
Well, you love it and hate it. Most of the time you end up hating it, right? But I think RNG is one of the reasons that I eventually moved to Gwent, other than the fact that it's a new and very different approach to card games. I got tired of RNG fully deciding games, and so the frustration with RNG, I'd say, was somewhat of a contributing factor to me being so excited to try Gwent, because it just is so different.
Okay, thank you. And now, whenever you're not playing trading card games, what do you do?
I'm a math teacher by trade. I teach algebra, which some people might find weird. And I don't know, man. I like reading books. I like watching. I like playing music. I was a musician by trade before I became a math teacher. So, jazz.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Good to know. Now, is there, based on your experience with games and CCG, stuff like this, what do you think of Gwent? Do you like the way that Gwent is going? Is there anything that you would like to see change or anything like that?
I think every single one of us who gets involved in CCGs is hoping for some sort of longevity, right? It's difficult to tell in the introductory phases of a game. Obviously, I'd love to see Gwent thrive, and I think one of the reasons that it just might is because of how different it is. It for me personally, it combines elements of existing card games and to some extent poker, and I like that hybridization. I think that going face is not something that doesn't get punished. I like that it's different. It just feels like good plays are often rewarded. So worth your time to try and really outplay your.
Ironically, some of the third decks, like the Gale's deck, actually require quite a lot of skill to pull it off. And not just that, you also have to have good reading on your enemy's hands in order to know when to go all in.
Absolutely. It doesn't feel something I like to tell my friends who don't know about Gwent who play other CCGs. I often tell them, in Gwent, I never feel rushed. I don't feel like, oh, my opponent just made a play turn one. If I don't have the answer immediately, I lose this game turn because I don't have the answer. The closest thing in Gwent, I think, that we have to Zerg kind of style deck is something that's like heavily based around buffs. And as you say, I think even that requires quite a bit of skill to execute, because there are efficient answers in most cases for that kind of strategy. So it requires some smarts. I really like it.
Yeah, you gotta play around a couple cards. Milva, stop that right away. That will ruin your day.
Hello, Gigny, my old friend.
Now, talking about cards and factions, could you please tell us what's your favorite faction and what's your favorite card at the moment?
Oh man. Well, when I started playing Gwent, I was absolutely addicted to playing Skeleton. Viking power. I couldn't get enough of it. I just loved it. This is back when we still had discard Skellige. It was still really, really strong. I played over 150 hours just Skellige. In terms of, I play a lot of Scoia'tael as well now, and not just for meta reasons. Just I like the flexibility. It feels flexible. It feels games are slightly different. You know, people who play against Square are like, well, it feels like they just spin like mad every game, but it's really it's not that simple. You know, which is the case of.
Yeah, compared to the new days. Compared to the new days, that was fair. That was super fair. No.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Favorite card? Of course, favorite card. That's a pretty tough question.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that feels the same way. That's really tough, man. Really tough.
That's a really tough question.
But now here is the thing. That is actually a really good sign of the position that Gwent is at. Because if you don't have a favorite card, you must be struggling with a couple, like 4 or 5 cards that you really like and that you'd really appreciate how they work. Go ahead, tell us if you have more than one. Go ahead, let us know.
Okay, well, I mean, I know they're gonna nerf her, but I think I really like the effect of a card like Milva. I just think it's a really interesting card. I personally like the idea that you can use her in a kind of nasty way. An opponent decides to early pass on you and misreads you.
Correct.
I really dig that idea. Although the card is kind of impressive at the moment, I think Octopus is really an amazing card. I've always loved it, and for a long time it wasn't played until people realized, oh crap, fit this in, and this card is just bonkers. I thought it's really cool. It's like a snowball card, but it's a smart man snowball card in the sense that it's all about one card attention. I really dig that. See, and I like Aglaze as well.
What did you think about the new faction and the new cards that are coming out? Anything in specific that you caught your eye?
Well, I mean, obviously we talked for hours about this, so I'll keep it as brief as I can. Basically, I think that Nilfgaard as a faction, from a competitive perspective, presents us with the opportunity to do a little bit of a mentality shift on how we evaluate how strong cards are. We have a certain way of doing this evaluation at the moment, and I think that it requires a mentality shift to be objective in how we evaluate cards. I think the mechanics are very interesting, and we'll see how deep creative deck builders can tap into once the honeymoon period is over, the new faction being introduced. I think the more the merrier. Like, we need a larger card pool. I think a lot of what people experience is staleness in the game is primarily due to the lack of cards. And so people are kind of pigeonholed to some extent into playing certain ways. And I think that's going to change. I think one thing that has to be mentioned is a big round of applause for guys like Retas and Debs. They're real open about making themselves available and answering questions to the community. I think that's a really good sign for longevity moving forward. They can keep that.
Yeah, that's I completely agree with you. Shout outs to Retas, shout outs to all the developers. Great job, guys. Keep it up. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for being here, and welcome to the team. Ancient Silence, is there any shout outs that you would like to give to anybody?
Well, I'd actually like to make a general shout out to, first of all, everybody involved in Gwent City. Thanks, guys, for taking a shot on me. I'm looking forward to working with you guys, contributing to this community, trying to propel the competitive movement going forward. I'd love to be a part of that. And then a huge general shout out to every single individual that's part of the beta right now, because the greatness of a game depends so much on the greatness of its community. Let's keep positive. Let's be ready to roll with the ball, adapt, and see where this ride takes us.
See you guys next time.